Let me just hit record here. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing well today. If you could just, I hope everybody's doing well. We're doing something a little bit new. I have YouTube joining us for the first time ever. I'm going to bring TikTok in just a moment. I just want to pull in my live feed over here on my iPad so I can actually see what's going on here. I hope you guys are doing well. Just bear with me for another minute. Let's pull TikTok in here. I don't remember who's who. Anyone from YouTube who happens to be popping in, welcome. Hang on. Let me just pull TikTok in. Trump posts all night nonsense. Okay, that should be good for TikTok to piss off the algorithm because, that's what happens. Hey, Tina, how are you? Hey, Renee, how are you guys? I see you guys on Substack. So today we're doing something a little bit different. Today we have all kinds of messages already from TikTok. That didn't take long. Not people messages, algorithm messages. Oh, TikTok, stop being this way. But today we also have, I also have YouTube Live, which is the very first time I'm on YouTube. I don't have any of you that are joining us on YouTube. I have to apologize. I don't have the feed coming through yet. I haven't worked that out yet. So I haven't worked out how to integrate the feed into my streaming software. So I really can't see any of you from YouTube, and I'll check that later. But anybody coming in from that space, welcome. Hey, TikTok, how are you guys? I hope you're doing well too. And Substack. Well, it started, okay? The village idiot Donald Trump spent First, let me go before I get into that. First, let me go over what we're going to cover today. I am seeing some latency on one of my feeds here, and that might be because I've got so many streams happening at the same time. Substack, folks, if you're seeing me sort of bouncing in and out, let me know on your end. I see it on my end, but I don't know how bad it is over on Substack, aside from just what I'm seeing. If you're seeing a nice, clear stream, if any of you could let me know that too, because something doesn't seem right. But we'll see if we can get that fixed. What I hope to cover today. I want to start out today with a discussion about the village idiot, Donald Trump, spending basically the better part of the evening into the wee hours of the morning shitposting on Truth Social. He is nuts. I mean, he's just fucking nuts. There's something very, very wrong with the village idiot Donald Trump. And I know the MAGAs, there might be some MAGA folks on here, certainly on YouTube and TikTok, and you guys are welcome to be here. But I know there's a perception with the village idiot Donald Trump that because he doesn't sleep, he's a Superman. He's a hero. He's a king. He's so strong that he doesn't even need to sleep, right? He's so committed. He doesn't even need to sleep. Right? That's not healthy. That's not. I want to let any folks from that community who might be joining me, even if it's just coming here to own this lib today, I'd like to share this with you. The fact that the village idiot Donald Trump. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. I'm looking on Tina and Trademark and Renee. Thank you for letting me know that things are. I can see that it looks a little more stable now. I think it was a Substack thing. So the village idiot Donald Trump's superpower, right? His superpower is not right that he's up all fucking night, right? That is part of his mental illness, right? That is part of his emotional instability. Donald Trump's superpower is that he's crazier and dumber than any human being that I've ever seen. And I'm not even saying that just like you would say it. Like, I think that's true, right? I'm not just, suggesting it rhetorically. Like, he is truly superhuman in his inability to know anything about everything, right? And he is superhuman in how crazy he is. Donald likes to talk about mental institutions, not infrequently, right? Venezuela, they emptied the mental institutions. They sent the mental patients, right? He says that all the time, right? But it's projection, because he knows at some level, whatever is left of that deluded, dysfunctional mind, right? Whatever is in there, whatever is left that's normal in any capacity, that part of him knows that he's fucking nuts, right? And that the mental patient isn't that Venezuela emptied their mental institutions and sent their mental patients to the United States. It's that the American public, for a second time, sent its craziest mental patient into the Oval Office, and the White House now is a mental institution for one person, right? And other than like seeing people who suffer from, who struggle and suffer from serious mental illness, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, all of these different maladies, seeing them and watching them, unfortunately, have to deal with the symptoms of their illness in an institution, outside of an actual institution, sans the metaphorical institution that we have now turned the White House into. Donald is the craziest person I've ever seen in real exact life. I mean, that's his superpower. So, my friends, it's not that the village idiot stays up all night because he's such a hard worker, because he's not. He's the laziest fuck you'll ever meet, right? So it's not that this idiot stays up all night, right? Because he's working. He stays up all night because he's crazy, right? He can't sleep because he's such a fucking nut job. So I just thought I would clear that up if there was any uncertainty about that before I get into the validation of that point, right? And the validation of that point is that the idiot was up all night, right? From 11 p.m. until 5:30 in the morning, posting nearly 100 True Social posts. Right? That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. The president of the United States, right? In real life, a real president, not a lunatic cosplaying as one, right? A real president would be entirely too busy. They would need to get a little bit of sleep because they'd be doing president things all fucking night long, right? They would be doing president things all fucking day long, right? By the way, the president, the village idiot, we have another cabinet meeting. I'm just going to digress for a second and plug the noon Substack. It's going to be earlier. It's going to be 11:30 because the village idiot will have a cabinet meeting, right, at 11:30, and they're always entertaining. So we're going to cover that live. We're going to live stream the cabinet meeting through the platform here. We won't be doing that on TikTok because I'm not allowed. So that's just going to be on Substack. Please subscribe. It's free. And join us at Zenocracy.news if you want to join the cabinet meeting, which is basically a circle jerk of Donald Trump and the goofballs, sycophantic goofball weirdos who are affiliated with him in the White House as cabinet members, where they, tickle his, what's and tell him how wonderful he is, and they all lie and they all make shit up, and it's just always entertaining to watch. So, and watching it as a community is even more fun. So we have an opportunity to do that today. So, please join me on Substack. Anyway, for that at noon. Link is in the bio in my profile here if you want to join. Um, so, all right, I think we've established, whether you agree with me or not, I'm willing, I accept that, right? But I think in general, we've established from my perspective that the village idiot is up all night because he's nuts. He's a malignant narcissist and he's beyond help at this point, right? That's why he's up all night. So he was up all night, okay, posting on Truth Social, right? Because that's all he has to do. All the man has to do is watch cable news, post on Truth Social, golf, yell at Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and AOC and Jasmine Crockett and the liberal lunatics, pretend, try anything he can to try to get a Nobel Peace Prize because the former black president won one and he hates that, right? He wants that one. He doesn't really want a Nobel Peace Prize. He wants Obama's Nobel Peace Prize. Hi, Irish Aggie. How are you? I'm sorry, guys, if you're seeing me move my head this way, I'm not doing this to be rude. I've got for those that weren't with me yesterday, I've got my new camera set up here, and it's a much, much better, much wider image, although I have to figure out how to fill that space with stuff. But I have my monitor moved over here now because I don't want to block the camera. And that doesn't work for line of sight, right? For me being able to look at the live streams or look at something I'm reading, which we're going to do in just a moment. It doesn't, and look directly at you guys. I'm working on a solution for that, but I don't have one yet. So pardon my rudeness as I continue to evolve the technology to create a better stream and a better product. But not knowing what the fuck I'm doing and learning as I go, this is the kind of shit that happens. I have to go here to see things, and that means I'm not looking at you guys. So, and when I'm looking down here, I'm looking at my iPad because that's the only place right now that I can see the live stream from Substack, which is another technical weirdness that I'm trying to work through. And YouTube, you're new today. I don't know what the fuck's going on with YouTube because I can't see anything happening except the fact that I'm streaming to YouTube. I know that that's working, so my apologies. I'm not ignoring those of you that are joining us on YouTube. I just haven't integrated the YouTube chat into the live stream as of yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Just be patient with me, guys. So anyway, and one more thing, these lives, if you're new on YouTube or you're new on TikTok, I know we've got, I don't think we have anybody new on Substack, but 9:30 a.m. is our community, 9:30, 10 o'clock-ish Eastern. That's our community live. That's where everybody is invited to join. Now we've got TikTok, YouTube, Substack, and we do that all at the same time. The noon live Eastern time is our Substack subscriber live. So subscribe, go over to Substack and join us for that one. So the village idiot was up all night, right? And he was rage posting all night long, right? Now, unfortunately, I'm not sure if I should do this or not, guys. I'm going to try something. I hope we're not going to get another. I want to bring up some really good reporting from The Independent about the idiot's live posting yesterday, because they just did a good comprehensive report, so I don't have to read each and every post. When I brought that, I have it right up now on some of our platforms, but TikTok, the algorithm is so edgy. And when I did this yesterday, we got a pseudo ban. So I don't want to risk it today, guys. I don't want to lose you guys like I did yesterday. So I'm gonna, if you could bear with me, TikTok, I'm gonna just read this and comment on it, but I can't take a chance and bring it up because that algorithm that's a nasty little algorithm at times. It's a very nasty algorithm. It's not nice. It's It's a Biden algorithm. They like it. Biden did it. I can tell you. Lots of people are saying it. They're saying Biden created the algorithm. It was Obama, and Hillary was in there too. And they created this algorithm. I call it an algorithm. I invented the word. It's very not nice to me. It's not nice. It's enough of that. Let's just do this, shall we? Trump's wild. This is from the Independent, folks, and I don't quote a lot of. I don't use the Independent frequently for reporting, because it's reporting can be a little iffy, a little rag-mag-ish, but I didn't mean MAGA-ish, rag-mag, like a rag magazine. It can be a little rag-mag-ish, a little sensationalized, but I think when we're talking about the village idiot Donald Trump posting excessively, right, for even him, throughout the entire fucking night on Truth Social, I feel like you don't want to go to a credible news source for that, like to talk about that, right? Because what fun would that be? You know what I mean? Like, what fun is it going to be to go to the Washington Post and hear what they have to say about the village idiot posting all night? Let's go to the Independent. The Independent, not fair to Trump. But let's sensationalize the stupidity a little bit more, and then I will also try to add my obnoxious 2 cents as I'm sharing this with you. Trump's wild midnight truth. So, folks on TikTok, I'm going to read the headline for you, for all of you. Trump's wild midnight Truth Social posting binge features over 150 messages, ranging from treason to beautiful Melania. She's so beautiful. So beautiful. So am I, by the way. So the idiot went from treason, obviously probably talking about Senator Mark Kelly, because he's really mad at Mark Kelly right now, right? To Melania, who surely fucking hates him anyway. President Donald Trump went on a manic Truth Social posting spree Monday night that saw him fire off 150 tweets in mere hours that included compliments about the First Lady to conspiracy theories about Democratic Rep Nancy Pelosi. Poor Nancy. She just fucking puts in her time, kicks Republicans' asses for 4 decades almost, right? Is the first Democratic, the first former Democratic leader with common fucking sense who, walks away at the right time. She's done humiliating and abusing Republicans, right? And she doesn't have, she's ready to move on. Let the younger generation come in and do their shit, right? And the idiot just can't leave her the fuck alone, right? He's gotta stick something in there. He's gotta bother Nancy. Let me just put a comment. Sorry, TikTok. If I don't put a comment in there every so often, TikTok just shuts down. So I just did that. So, I don't want it to shut the live down. They do that too. Between 7 p.m. and midnight, I read that part too again. Reposted the president. Between 7 p.m. and midnight, the president reposted roughly 150 tweets, averaging about one post every 2 minutes, right? For 5 fucking hours. The Independent didn't say fucking. I added that. From what appeared to be a random assortment of unknown figures on X and his close allies discussing an unpredictable range of topics, the heaviest concentration of posts occurred between 11 p.m. and midnight, with about 100 posts in the final hour alone. Think of the true mania, exactly, user. I mean, think about the fucking craziness. And I'm curious how he did it, right? I'm curious because we know that idiot is incapable of this, right? He's not like doing this, right? Right? That idiot cannot, he can't spell, he can't speak. He sure as fuck can't two thumb, post. I can barely do that. but that's okay. I try. That idiot can't even he can't even do it this way, right? So what the fuck's he doing? How did it happen? Did he call Miller in? Steven, I need you to come. I got to post. I'm going to post now. Come over, Steven. That's Steven. And then maybe Miller sits there. All right, Mr. President, I'll be right there. Miller, the vampires feed, after midnight. So Miller had to kind of turn back into a bat, and fly back to the White House, and fly through the idiot's window and, start posting for him. I don't know who did it, but or maybe the village idiot is using, if he's got an iPhone, maybe he's using the iPhone voice to text, but I can't imagine he'd be capable of that. So I know someone had to be in there kind of, well, I imagine some poor bastard, even if it wasn't Stephen Miller, the idiot was just speaking nonstop, right? For watching probably, midnight reruns of Fox News, and somebody was in there. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was a team, like Carolyn Levitt was in there, and whatever Confederacy of Communication Dingbats were in there. Maybe his communications director. I can't think of his name right now. It'll pop into my head. Stephen Chung, right? Maybe Chung waddled in there, and the whole team was in there while the idiot, I want you to write, Nancy Pelosi is a nasty woman. You got that, Stephen Chung? Chung, I call you Chung. Chung. Right? I call you Chung. I just call him Chungy. Chungy, you got that, Chungy? Take that down. Post it, Chungy. Like, I could see that. Sort of. I digress. Less than 6 hours after capping his posting spree, the president jumped back on his social media platform at 5:48 a.m., declaring, "Truth Social is the best," in all caps. "There's nothing even close," in all caps. Well, that's not in all caps. The first one, Truth Social is the best, is in all caps. And "there's nothing even close" is not in all caps, but has 3 exclamation points, I should say. The Truth Social spree included videos of Kamala Harris, flattering comments about himself, and attacks against his perceived political rivals. In one particularly nostalgic post, the idiot reposted, I'm saying idiot, the Independent is not, the idiot reposted a video with the caption, quote, "Christmas is officially great again." The video included a snippet of Trump in Home Alone 2 because, he's so fucking crazy. He thinks he did something there. Remember Home Alone 2 when they were I can't think of the name of Macaulay Culkin, but I can't think of the character's name. He's walking through the Trump Plaza and the idiot walks by him or something and said, I don't remember what the fuck he said. It was, "Can I help you?" And maybe Macaulay Culkin said, "No, thank you, sir." Some shit like that, right? That was his, that was the Village Idiot's big movie moment that he still brags about. That was his big moment. He's a fucking star. He was a reality show star, cosplaying as a businessman, pretending to be a businessman on The Apprentice. That was a real thing. But he did always dream, I think, of being a real movie star, right? And he just now says he is. The video included a snippet from Home Alone 2, a clip of Kamala Harris, and footage of the president and Melania looking at Christmas trees. There's, for those of you that can see this, that I can show it to, and again, I apologize, TikTok, because I can't show you now. There's a picture of the idiot sitting at what I think is the Resolute desk and kind of looking like this. I'm doing, that's the image. That's a Reuters image. Trump also once again took aim at Senator Mark Kelly and other Democrats with military backgrounds who issued a video statement last month telling troops. They can and must refuse illegal orders. We knew the idiot's still steaming about that. Mark Kelly and the group of unpatriotic politicians, the U in unpatriotic and the P in politicians are capitalized. So therefore, the village idiot must believe that those are proper nouns, I guess. Mark Kelly and the group of unpatriotic politicians were wrong. Wrong is in all caps. To do what they did, and they know it. I hope the people looking at them are not duped into thinking that it's okay to openly and freely get others to disobey the President of the United States. Trump wrote. Less than an hour later, Representative Jason Crow, one of the lawmakers at the video, responded, fuming, quote, "The president can post on Truth Social all he wants, but he will never threaten or intimidate me. I've taken many oaths as a paratrooper, Army Ranger, and now a member of Congress. My obligation is to the Constitution, not Donald Trump, and it's always satisfying for me when a seasoned veteran like Crow, right, comes back, because you do have some vets on the Republican side. I can't think of the name of the senator who was a former Navy SEAL, but you have some of them who unfortunately have sold out their decency and their honor. As much as they serve the country honorably, and I certainly appreciate that from them, but they've sold their dignity and their honor to an imbecile. And it's always sad to see them defending the idiot. There's not a lot of them, because I think very few people who have served in the military at that level, especially at its special forces level, I would imagine, the integrity and discipline and stamina and courage it takes to do that job, would be something that far exceeds the indecency of Donald Trump, and they could almost never bring themselves to go there. Some have, and that's sad to see. It doesn't make me angry, or I don't feel that. I feel it's pathetic. It's sad to see, because the village idiot is so far beneath all of them, and that's why the village idiot, President Bone Spurs, the village idiot who cowered out of the Vietnam War because he was too afraid to serve, the village idiot who referred to military members as suckers, the village idiot who has, professes to love the military, but sees military members as just people who are beneath him, people who aren't as smart as him, people who are too dumb to know any better, and they'll just put themselves in harm's way for their country. The village idiot has made that clear, that is beneath him, beneath his dignity. He's too smart for that. He's too smart to be one of them. But in reality, he's such a low caliber person. He's such a low class of individual that he's so beneath them. There are endless. I've said this about different Trump, different people who have had to, unfortunately lower themselves to stand next to trash like Trump. Kamala Harris, for example, she is so far above the dignity of him, but yet she had to stand side by side with him at that debate where she, completely humiliated and skewered him. But it was still yet so beneath all of what she achieved and all of the obstacles that were in her way, being a woman of color, that, garbage like him, who lazy, entitled, useless putz, who the American people just were dumb enough to elevate to the position that he's in. The American people, set a moron up to fail twice, right? That they have to that they have found these moments, like Zelensky, like Volodymyr Zelensky has to play this stupid game with this imbecile who's so far, because the U.S. is we're supplying most of the weapons to Ukraine, and Europe, for whatever reason, isn't taking the leadership role it needs to. So Zelensky can't just tell Trump to go fuck himself. But yet Trump is so far beneath Zelensky, between, a warrior, and a warrior president and a putz president, So when someone like Jason Crow, again, who the village idiot Donald Trump is so far beneath the dignity of Crow, right? That someone who was a paratrooper and an Army Ranger, who achieved, and is now a member of Congress, who achieved so much through skill and talent and intellect and grit and discipline and passion, right? And were handed nothing, right? For someone like Crow to have to speak out is, on the one hand, it bothers me because, again, Trump is so far beneath them. Trump needs to be standing next to Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth and the rest of the trash that, operates and functions at his level, right? Just, generally at the level of cowardice and stupidity and garbage and entitlement and all that other shit, right? So it brings me satisfaction when someone like Jason Crow hammers back, and reminds the idiot, right, and the community that supports him, and the MAGA constituency that supports the idiot, when even though to you and I, the pro-democracy folks who may not, we don't need reminding of the dignity of somebody like Jason Crow, people do. And I think when Crow comes back with what seems like a relatively obvious, mundane statement to us, I think it stings an idiot like Donald Trump and the MAGA community, many in the MAGA community, who know better, who know that Donald Trump is trash, right? But they just can't bring themselves to go there, right? So when Crow says something like, the president can post on Truth Social all he wants, but he will never threaten or intimidate me. I've taken my oaths as a paratrooper, Army Ranger, and now member of Congress. That's such a dig to Trump. He's saying to Trump and to Trump supporters, the elite in the White House, the MAGA elite and the MAGA faithful, that you're supporting this feckless piece of trash who is a coward, who ran from the military, who's going after me. Oh, by the way, folks, I'm a member of Congress, but guess what? I was a fucking Army Ranger and a paratrooper, right? Like, your guy, was born into wealth and went bankrupt 6 times, right? Not paying contractors. And, it's pretty hard to fucking bankrupt a casino, right? I mean, those are fucking money pits, right? Nobody fails in the casino business, right? It's kind of hard, right? Donald could do it. And I just think, and I think it's a dig too, to Republicans in Congress that don't deserve to be there. Republicans, people like Andy Biggs and Lauren Boebert. Marjorie Taylor Greene has had her awakening, and she's leaving anyway, but formerly Marjorie Taylor Greene. Mark Wayne Mullen in the Senate. These are people these are low caliber people that, for the most part, with some exceptions, are just as useless as Donald Trump. You wouldn't hire them to walk your dog, right? Because you wouldn't trust them to be responsible, capable, intellectually functional enough that that they would walk your dog safely, right? But because they're affiliated with the rage and the racism and the hatred and the misogyny and the bigotry and the Islamophobia that is so prevalent in the MAGA community, which is getting smaller by the hour anyway. But they were able to achieve, they're members of Congress now because they were in these gerrymandered red states. They were able to find their way in because the qualifications were just to be an asshole, right? Right? Didn't matter if one was an idiot, right? As long as you were appropriately racist, bigoted, ignorant, misogynistic, and cruel enough, and the village idiot, you could get the village idiot to give you his endorsement because it's a cult, right? You were in. So, congratulations. But when you have, again, somebody like Jason Crow who fucking earned it, right? Like Mark Kelly who fucking earned it, right? Someone like Jason Crow, any of us can do what Donald Trump did. Any of us. I never served, right? I'm gonna be 57 next month. I'm an entitled white guy, right? I could have achieved anything I want simply because of what I look like and what generation I was born into, right? So, I get that, right? I could have done what Donald did. I mean, right now I have, we have a wonderful Substack community that's growing, but it's small. And right now here on TikTok, we've got about 69,000 followers. It took me years to build up. Years, right? We're just starting. I'm just starting out on YouTube, so who knows, right? But I could have just gone batshit MAGA crazy 5 years ago when I was doing this. And I could have gone, for the sake of my ambition, as opposed, irrespective of my conscience. I could have gone full on MAGA in my when I was a reporter, and now as I'm doing all this social media stuff, and I would be very successful in terms of followers and funding and everything else, right? I could have, I could have been like fucking Laura Loomer or Candace Owens it wasn't hard, especially during the first Trump presidency, to come into social media, become one of them, be funded either by, these oligarchs that are supporting the Trump administration, or some of these creeps were funded directly by the Russians, right? There's plenty of credible reporting to that. So, the reason I'm bringing that up is any of us could be Trump. I had a discussion last year. I remember it last year, a short discussion with my brother-in-law, who's by no means a Trump supporter. He finds Trump appalling. But we were having a little bit of a friendly debate about whether or not Trump was an idiot. My position is that Trump is an idiot. And my brother-in-law was arguing, well, I can't believe an idiot could achieve this. He's horrible, and I made the point to my brother-in-law, the only reason he achieves it is you can be an idiot and achieve that, but he just has no filters. He has no decency. And we live in a culture now. Fortunately, that subculture is dissipating because a lot of these people are being hurt directly by Trump. A lot of Trump supporters are being hurt by him now. But we live in a subculture now where if you had no filters, if you were cruel and you were misogynistic and you were bigoted and you didn't pay attention to your conscience and you just turned those filters off, you could go places, right? You could go up to the fucking president of the United States, right? That is the word. And so the point that I'm making is it's easy. It was easy for Marjorie Taylor Greene to be a congresswoman. It was easy for Lauren Boebert to become a congresswoman. Granted, Andy Biggs was around long before Donald Trump, but it got easier for a white nationalist creep like him to be a congressman, right? For Mark Wayne Mullen, it was easy for Mark Wayne Mullen he didn't have to fucking do anything. He didn't have to show that he had any sort of a grasp on policy or on on the needs of his state, or a lot of these, hardline MAGA Republicans in the House who've been elected certainly in the last 4 years, right? They didn't need to. They didn't need to know anything. They don't need to understand anything about civics. And in the past, you would, as a Republican pre-Trump, pre the Tea Party, right? Because that was prior to Trump. But prior to the Tea Party, which was just a fucking racist response to a black president, cloaked in, they're going to take away my health care. But it was really just, he's black and we hate that, right? That was the Tea Party. And we're going to say it's about health care, but it never was, right? But prior to that, in 2010, right, in order to get elected in most districts, even as a member of the House of Representatives, you had to have something. You had to have something, some knowledge of government, some knowledge of some understanding, right, of how shit's going to work, or how you think it works, or how you might want it to work. You had to have some interest in your actual fucking district. You get these MAGA fucking creeps now. Laura Goofball Sociopath Loomer, right? She's mad at Marjorie Taylor Greene before Marjorie Taylor Greene said she's leaving. So she's retiring. Loomer, the dingbat, said, and I think she was serious, right? Well, maybe I should move to Georgia to primary her, right? Because, and that's what would Laura Loomer give a shit about the people in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district? They don't fucking care, right? She would move there. She would get the job, right? She would be angry enough for the racist in Marjorie's community to elect her. And so back to, I know I'm way off down a rabbit hole here, guys, and I got to wrap the live soon. She like, when you have somebody like Representative, my point is, I guess, it's taken me a while to find my way back to my point. When you have something like Representative Jason Crow, who earned it, who served the country in one of the most difficult ways possible, and then found his way into the halls of Congress, when somebody like that hits back at the village idiot Donald Trump, like he did, and hits back at the MAGA community, reminding them of the useless simpleton that they chose, juxtaposed against his skill, experience, intellect, and sacrifice. I like when that happens. All that to tell you that. Anyway, let's continue. Like I said, I gotta wrap the live in just a moment. I went too far on my tangent. I didn't get to most of the stories, as always, that I want to cover. Several other posts were dedicated to bashing his frequent Democratic targets: Pelosi, California Governor Gavin Newsom, and former President Joe Biden. One post about Pelosi called "Lock Her Up," basically claiming that her staffer was involved with the January 6th Capitol riot. Another praised Trump's efforts to void Biden's auto pen orders. Mixed into the rage-filled posts was a video the village idiot Donald Trump posted complimenting Melania's style. The president later reposted an ex-user's reaction to the video. "Grace, elegance, and beauty. Our First Lady, Melania." Others were fawning posts about the president from MAGA allies. Trump reposted a video of Florida GOP rep Byron Donalds delivering remarks, which included him thanking God that Harris didn't win in 2024. It's just so crazy. You can't help but laugh. Within the same minute, the village idiot posted an ex-user hyping up Trump. "Donald Trump is not a Democrat. He's not even a Republican. He's a movement, the greatest president to ever live. Donald John James, Jesus Christ Trump, King of the world, the Messiah returning on December 25th. America, America." Several ex-users remarked on the 79-year-old's nonstop social media posts. We're almost done, guys. Democratic influencer Harry Sisson quipped, in the middle of the night, Trump posted on True Social well over 150 times in an hour. That's at least 2 posts a minute. If you had a family member or friend doing this, you'd host an intervention, right? Trump is not well, and he was clearly having a mental decline moment. Another ex-user seemed shocked by the sheer number of posts. I've never seen anything like the absurd number of times Trump posted on True Social late last night, this morning. Mostly random screenshots and video clips, but in very rapid succession. I don't know who this. Here's the estimated walk-in shower price. I don't know. It's just an ad, guys. Mostly random screenshots and video clips, but in very rapid succession. So that's that. So anyway, my friends, thank you, Brandon. Thank you for being here. Thank you. The new setup. It's a work in progress, but we're making progress, Brandon. We're making progress. It's great progress. We're doing great. Everybody's saying it. We're doing great. I spoke to a very important guy. Brandon is a wonderful person, and lots of people are saying what Brandon is saying. It's great. The only other thing I want to squeeze in, I need to wrap this live in the next 3 minutes. I'm going to bring this up both on, if I can, because I'm at the end of the live. I don't give a shit if TikTok. There's no reason for the algorithm to have a problem with this, but just want to bring up just one more. I just want to cover one more quick topic. This is a tweet Hegseth post on X, which I can't read, so I have to make my screen a little bit bigger. Hegseth posted, let's make one thing crystal clear. Admiral Mitch Bradley is an American hero, a true professional. And as my 100% support, I stand by him and the combat decisions he has made on September 2nd, on the September 2nd mission and all others since. America is fortunate to have such men protecting us. When this Department of War says we have the back of warriors, we mean it. Hegseth and Trump are setting up Admiral Mitch Bradley to take the fall. And this is like a kindergarten type version of Hegseth trying to pull that off. There was I'm sure you all know about the Washington Post reporting from a few days ago where we learned that Hegseth was the one who gave the order to unalive the survivors during the second attack, the second assassination, the second murder that the Trump administration ordered the military to do when they took out that boat in the Caribbean. There were Washington Post reported there were 2 survivors. They reported that Hegseth then gave the order to, I can't say the word, KILL, them all. And then subsequently, this admiral gave that order based on Hegseth's order. Ever since then, Hegseth, who can't fuck enough things up, to be honest with you, like he's fuck up after fuck up after fuck up. When you're, a borderline functioning alcoholic, untreated, and I'm not making fun of the fact that he suffers from the disease of alcoholism. Nobody deserves that, but there is treatment that could help him. But he's delusional, and he's so far into his disease, and he's within a community, the MAGA community, where getting help is not an option. Being your worst self and is celebrated. Being your sickest self mentally is encouraged. That's how you move up. So Hegseth, although he's, I truly think it's the alcohol that's driving him at this point. He still is responsible for his actions, and this is a fucking war crime. He clearly knows that. The village idiot clearly knows that. And this admiral, who should have had the decency and the intellect to at least not follow that order, not give that order, or immediately resign, like the formal commander in that particular region. This admiral didn't, and now he's learning an awful lesson because this is a war crime. This is not just a crime that's going to be prosecuted by the United States of America after Trump is no longer president, which it will. I can't imagine any attorney general, Democrat or Republican, who is a decent person, but who isn't a MAGA clown, which we won't have in 2028, that would not investigate and prosecute this unaliving. Also, it's an international war crime. So I would fully expect that at some point, the International Criminal Court at The Hague will investigate this as well and eventually indict probably the admiral, because Trump and Hegseth's attempt here with this post, it's so childish in its execution. It's so transparent. He's so pathetic. And again, I believe it's the alcohol. I mean, he's an asshole on a good day. He's a white nationalist creep with the tattoo on his chest to prove it. But I think he is so drunk, literally, and drunk now with power, that I think he's driven by the booze and not. I don't think there's much of a mind left for Hegseth at this point. But he's also scared fucking shitless right now. There's enough sense left in that distorted mind of his to know how much trouble he might be getting in. The Village Idiot threw him under the bus a couple of days ago when he was asked about this, and the Village Idiot said, "It's not an order I would have given. I would have never given the order. Pete didn't do it. He said he didn't do it. So I believe him. Pete didn't do it." But that was the idiot saying to Hegseth in idiot speak, in Trump speak, "You're on your own, biatch." Right? I'm not taking the fucking fall for this. Good luck, Pete. Thanks for being loyal to me. Go have a scotch. Right? And then I guess together they figured, well, you know what? Fuck it. Blame the admiral. Because as we talked about before, Trump figures that everybody in the military are losers and suckers anyway, right? So blame the fucking admiral. So Hegseth, the patheticness of Hegseth, sort of phrasing this post where he thinks he's it's like a 6-year-old, right? Or like a 3-year-old, 5-year-old thinking, I'm going to get away with this because the 5-year-old, ate the chocolate she wasn't supposed to eat, right? But she doesn't know that when you lie about it and you blame it on the fucking dog, right? That's not something that every 5-year-old has done. And she doesn't know that her parents know that she's going to be lying. So she's like, yeah, mommy, daddy, the dog ate that chocolate. It wasn't me. It was that dog. She was so bad, that dog. But I love that dog so much. And it's not her fault that she ate that chocolate, mommy and daddy. And of course, mommy and daddy know that the dog, if ate all that chocolate, they'd have to rush the dog to the fucking vet. And they know, because they've lied themselves. We've all been 5, right? We all know that. But Hegseth, who's 5 intellectually or in terms of his maturity level, and again, I have to preface, I do, in my humble opinion, not as a doctor, obviously I'm not, or a mental health professional. I believe that he is suffering, that he is in the deep throes of advanced alcoholism. And I know that you reach a point where the alcohol takes control, the need to drink takes control, and you lose control of whatever you had, and I think he's there. But I think that analogy to the 5-year-old and the fact that this dipshit, Department of this moron cosplaying as Department of Defense, Department of War, tough guy, right, with his big balls. The transparency of him being that little 5-year-old girl saying that the dog ate the chocolate is almost laughable. Let's make one thing crystal clear. Translation: Mom, Dad, it wasn't me. Back to Hegseth. Admiral Mitch Bradley is American hero. Mom, Dad, I love the dog. She's such a good dog. That was the translation, the 5-year-old translation. A true professional and has my 100% support. Mom, Dad, it really wasn't the dog's fault. And I really love her and I want to hug her. Back to Hegseth. I stand by him and the combat missions he has and the combat decisions he has made. Mommy, Daddy, don't punish the dog. I'm here, and I'll make sure she never does it again, and it wasn't her fault. On September 2, mission and all others since. I don't need to do more of the 5-year-old. I made my point. All right, my friends. No honor amongst thieves, Brandon. Amen, amen. All right, my friends, that is it for today. Again, it is 10:36. It is 10:36 a.m. Eastern. Please join me around 11:30. We might go a little bit later because the idiot always likes to be late because it makes him feel important. So the 11:30 on Substack, around there, we'll be covering live the Village Idiot cabinet meeting. And it's always entertaining. So join us over on Substack. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Zenocracy.news is the name of the community. I mean, it's kind of the name of the community here, too. So thank you for being here. YouTube, I'm sorry I wasn't able to see what's going on there. I've got you guys streaming, but I have no idea how many of you are here and what's happening in the live. I'm going to work on figuring the tech out to be able to bring the live into the chat, or at least somewhere where I can see it. But thank you, anyone from YouTube who joined us today. Welcome to the community. I love you guys. 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 live at a time. That's how we continue to work our way through this presidential nightmare. It's getting better. The idiot's getting weaker. And politically, things are moving in the right direction. Much love to you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. I have to end these lives separately because TikTok is a pain in the ass, and I can't stream TikTok through my streaming platform, so I have two live platforms going. So let's wrap up TikTok first. Thank you, TikTok. See you guys soon. All right, exit now. And TikTok is done. And see you guys, Substack. I'll see you guys in just about an hour or so. Love you guys. See you.